The Epic of Gilgamesh, Tablet 6. He washed his matted locks, cleaned his head strap. He shook his hair down over his shoulders. He threw off his filthy clothes. He put on clean ones. Wrapping himself in a cloak, he tied on his sash. Gilgamesh put on his kingly diadem. The princess Ishtar coveted Gilgamesh's beauty. Come, Gilgamesh, you shall be my bridegroom. Give, oh, give me of your lusciousness. You shall be my husband, and I shall be your wife. I will ready for you a chariot of lapis and gold, with golden wheels and fittings of gemstones. You shall harness storm demons as if they were giant mules. Enter our house amidst fragrance of cedar. The splendid exotic door-sill shall do you homage. Kings, nobles, and princes shall kneel before you. They shall bring you gifts of mountain and lowland as tribute. Your goats shall bear triplets, your ewes twins. Your pack-laden donkey shall overtake the mule. Your horses shall run proud before the wagon. Your ox in the yoke shall have none to compare. Gilgamesh made ready to speak, saying to the princess Ishtar, What shall I give you if I take you to wife? Shall I give you a headdress for your person or clothing? Shall I give you bread or drink? Shall I give you food worthy of divinity? Shall I give you drink worthy of queenship? Shall I heap up for a garment? What would I get if I married you? You are a brazier that goes out when it freezes, a flimsy door that keeps out neither wind nor draught, a palace that crushes a warrior, a mouse that gnaws through its housing, tar that smears its bearer, waterskin that soaks its bearer, weak stone that undermines a wall, battering ram that destroys the wall for an enemy, shoe that pinches its wearer. Which of your lovers lasted forever? Which of your heroes went up to heaven? Come, I call you to account for your lovers, he who had jugs of cream on his shoulders and on his arm. For Dumuzi, your girlhood lover, you ordained year after year of weeping. You fell in love with the mighty-colored roller bird, then you struck him and broke his wing. In the woods he sits crying, My wing! You fell in love with the lion, perfect in strength, then you dug for him ambush pits 7 times 7. You fell in love with the wild stallion, eager for the fray, whip, goad, and lash you ordained for him. 7 double leagues of galloping you ordained for him. You ordained that he muddy his waters when he drinks. You ordained perpetual weeping for his mother, divine Silili. You fell in love with the shepherd, keeper of herds, who always set out cakes baked in embers for you, slaughtered kids for you every day. You struck him and turned him into a wolf. His own shepherd boys harried him. His own hounds snap at his heels. You fell in love with Ishulanu, your father's gardener, who always brought you baskets of dates, who daily made your table splendid. You wanted him, you sidled up to him. My Ishulanu, let's have a taste of your vigor. Bring out your member, touch our sweet spot. Ishulanu said to you, Me? What do you want of me? Hath my mother not baked? Have I not eaten? Shall what I taste for food be insults and curses? In the cold is my cover to be the touch of a reed? When you heard what he said, you struck him and turned him into a scarecrow. You left him stuck on his own garden patch. His well sweep goes up no longer, his bucket does not descend. For me, now that you've fallen in love with me, you will treat me like them. When Ishtar heard this, Ishtar was furious and went up to heaven. Ishtar went sobbing before Anu, her father, before Antum, her mother. Her tears flowed down. Father, Gilgamesh has said outrageous things about me. Gilgamesh has been spouting insults about me, insults and curses against me. Anu made ready to speak, saying to the princess Ishtar, Well, now, did you not provoke the king, Gilgamesh? And so Gilgamesh spouted insults about you, insults and curses against you? Ishtar made ready to speak, saying to Anu, her father, Well, then, father, pretty please, the bull of heaven, so I can kill Gilgamesh on his home ground. If you don't give me the bull of heaven, I'll strike to its foundation. I'll raise up the dead to devour the living. The dead shall outnumber the living. Anu made ready to speak, saying to the princess Ishtar, If you insist on the bull of heaven from me, let the widow of Uruk gather 7 years of chaff. Let the farmer of Uruk raise 7 years of hay. Ishtar made ready to speak, saying to Anu her father, "Stored up, I provided. The widow of Uruk has gathered 7 years of chaff. The farmer of Uruk has raised 7 years of hay. With the bull of heaven's fury, I will kill him." When Anu heard what Ishtar said, he placed the lead rope of the bull of heaven in her hand. Ishtar led the bull of heaven away. When it reached Uruk, it dried up the groves, reed beds, marshes. It went down to the river. It lowered the river by 7 cubits. At the bull's snort, a pit opened up. 100 young men of Uruk fell into it. At the second snort, a pit opened up. 200 young men of Uruk fell into it. At its third snort, a pit opened up. Enkidu fell into it, up to his middle. Enkidu jumped out and seized the bull by its horns. The bull spewed its foam in his face, swishing dung at him with the tuft of its tail. Enkidu made ready to speak, saying to Gilgamesh, "My friend, we boasted of—" "How shall we answer? I've seen, my friend, the strength of the bull of heaven. So, knowing its strength, I know how to deal with it. I will get around the strength of the bull of heaven. I will circle behind the bull of heaven. I will grab it by the tuft of its tail. I will set my feet on its—" Then you, like a strong, skillful slaughterer, thrust your dagger between neck, horn, and tendon. Enkidu circled behind the bull of heaven. He grabbed it by the tuft of its tail. He set its feet on its— And Gilgamesh, like a strong, skillful slaughterer, thrust his dagger between neck, horn, and tendon. After they had killed the bull of heaven, they ripped out its heart and set it before Shamash. They stepped back and prostrated themselves before Shamash. Then the 2 comrades sat down beside each other. Ishtar went up on the wall of ramparted Uruk. She writhed in grief. She let out a wail. "That bully Gilgamesh who demeaned me, he's killed the bull of heaven!" When Enkidu heard what Ishtar said, he tore off the bull's haunch and flung it at her. "If I could vanquish you, I'd turn you to this. I'd drape the guts beside you." Ishtar convened the cult women, prostitutes, harlots. She set up a lament over the haunch of the bull. Gilgamesh summoned all the expert craftsmen. The craftsmen marveled at the massiveness of its horns. They were molded from 30 pounds each of lapis blue. Their outer shell was 2 thumbs thick. 6 times 300 quarts of oil, the capacity of both, he donated to anoint the statue of his god, Lugalbanda. He brought them inside and hung them up in his master bedroom. They washed their hands in the Euphrates. Clasping each other, they came away, paraded through the streets of Uruk. The people of Uruk crowded to look upon them. Gilgamesh made a speech to the servant women of his palace. "Who is the handsomest of young men? Who's the most glorious of males? Gilgamesh is the handsomest of young men. Gilgamesh is the most glorious of males. She at whom we flung the haunch in our passion, Ishtar, she has no one in the street to satisfy her." Gilgamesh held a celebration in his palace. The young men slept stretched out on the couch of night. While Enkidu slept, he had a dream. Enkidu went to relate his dream, saying to his friend— At which point, of course, the tablet breaks off.